Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're counting down the top 10 new PlayStation 5 games in 2026, a list packed with fresh releases and big hype titles that are either already playable or right around the corner. From intense action and dark fantasy to mind-bending sci-fi and pure adrenaline racers, these are the games that can actually define your year on PS5. If you like fast, spoiler-free recommendations, you're in the right place. Let's jump straight into number 10. Scars of Kosmora feels like a return to that cozy adventure vibe, but with sharper edges and bigger stakes. You step back into a vibrant spirit world where every path hides a little mystery, a small puzzle, or a fight that can turn intense fast. The new lands look handcrafted, full of glowing forests, ancient ruins, and unsettling, corrupted zones that make you slow down and actually look around. Combat is still about rhythm and timing. Quick dodges, clean bow shots, and smart staff combos. But the encounters feel more demanding, like the game wants you to master your tools instead of button mashing. Exploration is the real hook, though. You're constantly switching between calm moments and tense surprises, and the world keeps rewarding curiosity with upgrades, secrets, and story pieces that hit emotionally. The spirit companions are back too, and they're not just cute. They add utility, help with traversal, and make the world feel alive, like you're never truly alone. If you want an action adventure that mixes beautiful visuals, smooth movement, and a story that feels personal, Kena Scars of Kosmora is the kind of PS5 game you put on your radar right now. Star Wars Galactic Racer is basically pure speed in a galaxy that was made for it. Imagine hitting the throttle on iconic Star Wars tracks where the scenery isn't just decoration, it's part of the danger. Tight canyon runs, city flybys with traffic cutting you off, and open space routes where you're drifting around debris fields like it's nothing. The best part is how it sells that Star Wars feeling. Your racer sounds and handles like a real machine from this universe, and every boost feels like a mini hyperspace jump. Races aren't only about being fast either. You're reading the track, choosing when to risk the shortcut, when to play safe, and when to spend your boost to break away at the perfect moment. Expect rivals that actually pressure you, dynamic hazards that keep laps from feeling repetitive, and that constant one mistake and you're done. Tension that makes arcade racing addictive. If you love fast games, but you also want style, atmosphere, and a world you recognize instantly, Star Wars Galactic Racer is the kind of PS5 racer that can turn into your next obsession, especially if it nails that competitive online vibe. Legacy of Kain, Ascendance brings classic gothic vampire energy back with a modern edge. You explore ruined cities and ancient castles where every corner feels cursed and dangerous. Combat looks fast and brutal with heavy strikes, quick dodges, and supernatural abilities that make you feel like the hunter, not the hero. The atmosphere is the real hook though, dark lighting, haunting sound design, and that iconic Legacy of Kain style of mystery. If you want a story-driven action game with serious dark fantasy vibes, Legacy of Kain Ascendance is a must. Pragmata is one of those PS5 games that instantly feels different, like sci-fi done with real mystery instead of just explosions. You're thrown into a strange near-future world where technology looks advanced, but everything feels lonely, broken, and a little unsettling. The setting has that something went wrong here energy, with empty structures, cold lighting, and quiet moments that make you lean in and pay attention. What makes Pragmata really exciting is the duo dynamic. You're not just playing as a single hero. You're managing movement, combat, and decision-making with a companion element that changes how encounters flow. Fights aren't only about aiming well. They look more tactical, like you need to read the situation, use the environment, and switch up your approach on the fly. Exploration also seems to be a big part of the experience, pushing you through mysterious facilities and open areas where the story is told through what you find, not just what characters say. And visually, it has that crisp next-gen feel, sharp details, strong atmosphere, and cinematic framing that makes every scene look like a teaser moment. If you want a sci-fi adventure that mixes action, strategy, and pure what-is-happening curiosity, Pragmata is absolutely a PS5 game to keep on your radar. Marathon is all about tension, speed, and smart decision-making, not just raw aim. This is a sci-fi extraction shooter where the real challenge is surviving long enough to cash out. You drop into hostile zones, loot valuable gear, and every sound you hear could be another team closing in. The atmosphere feels cold and futuristic, like you're trespassing in a place that doesn't want you there. And the game constantly pushes that risk versus reward feeling. Do you take the safe route and extract early, or keep pushing for better loot and gamble everything? What makes Marathon exciting is how it rewards planning. You're managing your loadout, choosing when to fight, when to hide, and when to sprint for the exit before things collapse. A clean win isn't always about getting the most kills. Sometimes it's about outsmarting everyone, using the map, and leaving with the best haul while other squads eliminate each other. The gunplay looks sharp and responsive, but the bigger story is the mind games. You're tracking enemies, predicting rotations, and making split-second calls that can flip the entire run. And because every match can change depending on who you meet and what you find, it has that one more run addiction built in. If you want a PS5 shooter that feels intense, tactical, and unforgiving in the best way, Marathon is one you should be watching closely. Darwin's Paradox is the kind of game that looks cute at first, then suddenly you realize you're fighting for survival in a world that doesn't care. You play as an octopus who gets pulled out of the ocean and thrown into a dangerous human environment, full of machines, traps, and weird hazards that feel way too big for you. The gameplay is built around being clever instead of being strong. You're sneaking through tight spaces, climbing and sliding across slippery surfaces, and using your tentacles to grab objects, pull switches, and solve puzzles in motion. But you're not powerless. The octopus abilities are the fun part. You can blend in, escape quickly, and outsmart enemies in ways that feel unique, not like a normal platformer. The levels look colorful and detailed, like a living factory or lab that's constantly moving around you, so the pace never stays calm for long. One moment, you're quietly hiding. The next, you're sprinting to avoid getting caught or crushed. If you like cinematic platform adventures with personality, creative movement, and that constant, how do I survive this next room feeling, Darwin's Paradox could be one of the most memorable PS5 surprises of the year. Castlevania Belmont's Curse brings that classic gothic action vibe back, but with a modern sense of speed and intensity. You play as a Belmont, stepping into a world of cursed castles, moonlit villages, and ancient ruins where danger is everywhere and the atmosphere feels heavy in the best way. Combat is all about momentum. The iconic whip is your signature, but it's not just for hitting enemies. It's for controlling space, breaking defenses, and chaining attacks so fights feel stylish instead of slow. Expect brutal creatures, creepy bosses, and encounters that punish mistakes, especially when the screen fills with threats at once. Exploration is a huge part too. You're hunting secrets, unlocking paths, and collecting upgrades that make you stronger, faster, and more prepared for what's deeper inside the darkness. And the tone matters. This game leans into horror aesthetics without going full scary, more like a dramatic gothic adventure with epic music and dramatic set pieces. If you want a PS5 action game that mixes classic Castlevania identity with sharper combat and modern presentation, Castlevania Belmont's Curse is one to keep on your wishlist. Beast of Reincarnation looks like the kind of PS5 game that pulls you into a beautiful world and then immediately reminds you it's not a safe one. The vibe is mystical and intense, with wild landscapes, ancient ruins, and a constant sense that something huge is watching you from the shadows. It feels like a dark fantasy journey where nature itself can be both stunning and terrifying. Combat seems built around precision and pressure. You're not just swinging and hoping for the best. You're reading enemy patterns, timing your dodges, and striking when there's an opening. Because one mistake can turn into a brutal punishment fast. And the enemies aren't random. They look like legendary creatures, twisted guardians, and monstrous beings that feel like they belong to old myths, the kind that make every boss encounter feel like a real event. But it's not only about fighting. Exploration looks rewarding, with paths that loop back, hidden areas that actually matter, and upgrades that change how you move and survive. The story angle is what makes it stand out, though. Reincarnation isn't just a cool title. It feels like the game is built around cycles, consequences, and a world that keeps changing as you push deeper. If you want a cinematic action adventure that mixes atmosphere, challenging combat, and mythic-scale creatures, Beast of Reincarnation is absolutely a PS5 game to watch closely. Saros looks like a PS5 game built for people who love atmosphere as much as action. The world feels strange and almost dreamlike, with alien landscapes, eerie skies, and locations that look beautiful from far away but unsettling up close. It gives off that you shouldn't be here vibe, where silence is never really safe and every new area feels like it's hiding something. What makes Saros exciting is the sense of discovery. It doesn't look like a simple point A to point B experience. It feels like you'll be exploring, collecting pieces of a bigger mystery, and slowly understanding what happened to this place and why you're caught in it. Combat, from what it shows, looks fast and deliberate, mixing movement, ranged options, and close-range pressure, so you're always making decisions. You're dodging, repositioning, and choosing the right moment to commit, because enemies don't look like they'll let you breathe. Visually, Saros has that crisp, next-gen presentation with strong lighting, cinematic camera angles, and a style that makes every scene feel like a trailer moment. But the real hook is the tone. It feels personal, intense, and a little haunting, like the story is going to hit harder the deeper you go. If you want a sci-fi adventure that mixes mystery, action, and an unforgettable world, Saros is one to keep high on your PS5 wishlist. God of War, Sons of Sparta feels like a return to raw rage and tight, brutal action, but with a fresh angle that makes it stand out from the start. You're thrown into a myth-soaked journey where every arena feels like a test of strength, timing, and pure survival. Combat is the main event. Heavy hits that land with real weight, quick dodges that actually matter, and those moments where you chain attacks perfectly and it feels unstoppable. But it's not just about swinging harder. The game pushes you to read enemies, punish openings, and manage your tools like a warrior, not a button masher. The scale looks huge too. Massive monsters, cinematic set pieces, and environments that feel dangerous even before the fight begins. And the story energy is classic God of War. Intense, personal, and driven by consequences. You can feel that tension in every scene, like the world is watching your choices and waiting for you to break. If you want a PS5 action game that delivers big spectacle, satisfying combat, and that legendary God of War atmosphere, God of War Sons of Sparta is the kind of game you boot up when you want adrenaline from the first minute.